I am not by the screen only because I forgot my refreshments, so I do apologize. We're late and we're not in front of the screen. That is on New York time, if you ask me. What is going on? I hope you had a fantastic weekend. We are going to be talking about watches as we always do. And I wanted to talk about Casio because the Casio automatic, it's a big deal. If you're a nerd like I am, it's humongous. It is, listen, I often say we're living through history. So for Casio to go automatic, regardless of how you feel if the watch is for you or not, it's still a big deal, at least in my book. For me, it is. So we're going to talk about that here today. We're also going to get a nice look behind the curtain on it's not out yet. It's a brand that is that's in the works. Very, very early stages. Shout out to my man, MG. He's already in chat. How are you doing, sir? We're going to take a look at that peek behind the curtain that he shared with me on the photos. It's not a lot, but it's still something cool to see. As it develops, I'll give you guys updates, and hopefully we'll get the watch on the channel. Other than that, I want to give you guys updates on some modifications that I've been doing. You guys know that I've been playing around with the Seiko King Turtle, that is. And then you know what? I completed a mod for the time. I always say that, Timex Q. It's not Timex Q, it's Q Timex. Show some respect. And that's what I have on wrist. So I'm going to show you guys what that looks like. Let me say hi to chat, as a matter of fact, before we get into that. MG is in the building, properly attending. Tim Cheeseman says, good day, gentlemen. Eric Mack. Eric, the reason why I was late is because you took the time to post a wrist shot on my community posts. And I wanted to show people that, but for some reason on the computer, it wasn't showing the community post. So I have to figure that out. I do appreciate you guys. If you have a wrist shot that you want to share with me, please do so. I'm always curious as to what you guys have on wrist, as much as you are when I'm live and you want to see what's on my wrist as well. So please subscribe to the channel, because that's the only way that you can post your wrist shots. It will take 24 hours. And then after the fact, send me that wrist candy. You know what I'm talking about? Eric Max in the building. David says, sup, fellas. MG is having a parade. Fantastic. So on wrist is my Timex Q, and I want to show you guys what that looks like. So I decided to fade the bezel. This was the first time that I've ever attempted to fade a bezel. Now, I didn't do a good job. I didn't do the job that I wanted to do. But you know what? For the first time, I'm not going to be too mad. It is more faded than I wanted it to be. So the Timex Q comes with faux patina indexes, faux patina on the hands, and therefore I wanted to faux patina the bezel. You do that with Clorox. You drop it in there, you watch it for every 15 minutes, you take it out. I didn't do that. I went through a whole bunch of process with it. I tried different methods of doing it. I don't want to focus too much on that here on this live stream. I'm going to do a separate video on the things that I attempted, but ultimately I'll leave you with this. The best way to do it is to remove the bezel itself. I'll show you a fantastic way of doing that without having to scratch the case itself. Drop it in the Clorox, pay mind to it every 15 to 20 minutes until it's faded to where you want it to be. Fair enough? Let's get that back on wrist. But we learned a lot. And again, I'm going to update you guys. This is a hard bracelet. Do give me a minute here. And it's a hair puller. That's another thing too. But with the vintage aesthetics that I have here now, I wanted that, and I'll sacrifice some hair follicles. You know what I mean? On my right wrist is my Casio F91W. You guys know this is my daily driver. Casio is the topic that we're talking about here. Casio. Everybody, I don't want to say everybody loves it, but I want to say it's super popular amongst most people's collection. Fair? They're a big deal. They sell a lot of watches. That's the most, it's probably the most popular watch ever sold, I dare argue. Maybe I'm wrong. Probably not. F91W. You guys know I modified it, put the Vario strap on that and everything else. I have a whole, so before I started this live, it dawned on me. I was like, you know what? I should take the Casios that I own before we talk about the new automatic watch. And I realized that I pulled about 1/3 of my collection. I didn't realize how many Casios I actually own. And it's included with G-Shock. But by the time I was thinking I was going to pull like 5 watches, I was doing one of these while they were on their rolls. I was like, I own a lot of Casio. So Casio is a big deal. Casio is a big deal. And as far as modification goes, and that's going to be part of the topic, we're going to talk about the new release. Bear with me, but I want to show you guys some watches. Casio is king of modifications as well. Seiko doesn't always have to take the reins when it comes to modifications. But now we have a Seiko movement. That's going to be part of the topic. And I want to know, everybody in chat, I want to know how you feel about this Casio automatic, the Edifice automatic release. Please give your thoughts as we go along. I'll try to pull them up and see what we're talking about here. So just to give you an idea, and guys, I have to always include somebody who may be new to watch collecting. And Casio's the way to go if you're new to watch collecting. You can own a very, very affordable Casio F91W. Step into watch collecting at a very affordable rate. That's why I love Casio. That's why I give them a lot of flowers. I think they deserve a lot of attention, and that's why this live came about. Fair enough? So F91W, we'll run right through it really quickly. This is the AE 1300, right? So modded case, polarized film modded, right? You guys know I mixed and matched the actual faceplate that's on here. There's a lot of different things that you can do. This is, I believe this, I forget what case this was. Who offered that case? SKX mod. SKX mod, right? So we bumped up the AE 1300. We also bumped up the AE 1200, right? And if I'm getting the models wrong, that's not the focus here. I did the negative display. I did a little colorful for the world timer. It's in a gold case. It's got rubber strap on there. Let's run down the gamut. DW 5600. DW 5600? That sounds right. DW 5600 in a titanium PVD coated, right? Casio. DW 5600. DW 5600 in a white case. Modified the case as well. So these all the Casios that I'm showing you now are squares. Well, that one wasn't a square, but these are all case models. This is the, oh man, yeah. Casio. Let's go with that. We don't have to give the model numbers every time. It's a lot of pressure while you're live, okay? This is the Casio. And I'll tell you what, man, I put the metal on the Casio. I didn't like it. I didn't wear it. Let me know if you're getting feedback from the AC, by the way. This way I don't have to wipe sweat off my forehead too much. I didn't like the metal on here. When I did get this plastic see-through type status for the Casio G-Shock, Casio, I love it. Summertime vibes for that strap as well. And that's what Casio's known for, a lot of the digital. We have the King on here. Not a lot of modifications on this. I think I changed out the strap, right? I modified the lugs so I can put this, you know what, the end strap on here. Don't want to say it. Then we have the Mission Impossible, right? This is I think the DW290, right? So Casio, man, Casio. And then we cannot exclude Zidoro, right? I did a video on this. You guys know the modifications that I did for this. Sapphire crystal I put on there. I put on a ceramic bezel, and I'm a bad boy. It's a diver, but for some reason, I've been liking leather on divers. I know. That's absurd. But until you try it, don't knock it, because I've been loving it a lot, for sure. What are you guys saying in chat? We need to see a Seiko with a Casio digital display to restore the balance. That's true. That would be actually, hey, man, it's only fair, right? Scratch my back, scratch yours. I mean, look, Seiko's probably already happy that they decided to use their movement. Yes, they bought probably a boatload of movements, right? The automatic Edifice that we see now is not going to be the last watch that we see them use, and probably not the last watch that they make automatic with the actual NH movement in it. Pretty sure they bought a lot of them. And I can't even put a number to that. As far as what the actual quantity is, it's probably insanity. Yes? 50,000 units? Who knows? 100,000? Possibly. So that Duro looks cool. Thank you, sir. I actually did a standalone video for this. Duro's really popular. Casio's really popular. And that's what leads us to where we are right now. Before we get into it, and I want to say hi to people in chat. Wistful Ignorance is in the building. Lone Ranger pulls up on the horse. He says, "Hi ho, Silver." Not really, but I know that's what you're thinking. I had a video that I found. I'm going to play that in the background. I do want to share that with you guys. So let me see if I can pull up a little split screen type of situation. If I could remember the commands to do that. Hold on one second. Yeah. Let's do full screen instead. So this is a video I found. Link is in the description. This is a review. This gentleman actually has the full line for the new Casio Edifice automatic. So if you want to check out a video where he showcased, where you can see all the watches all together, please do so. Now, I think this is subbed. This is like a subtitle type of situation, but that's okay. There's a lot of different colorways going on. And I'll tell you what, man, before we get too thick in the weed, it was very difficult for me to figure out what colorway that I wanted ultimately. And I landed on, I'm trying to figure out what screen do I want. Hold on. Let's do this. Yeah, I like that. I landed on eventually pulling the trigger on the white dial version. The green was easy for me to pass on, as you can see here. The blue is phenomenal. The blue is fire. It was very hard for me to pass on that model. I'll tell you that right now. I didn't care so much for the black one, but this is also the forged carbon fiber case with a rubber strap. I thought that that was really cool, right? We're getting an integrated bracelet, so that's also a nice little touch to it. I think that for some people, this is going to be very popular, but I actually passed on that as well. And I was stuck between the blue dial colorway and the white dial colorway. And I'll tell you why I went with the white dial, or white or silver, whatever you want to call it. That is because it's relative to where I am in my watch collecting, right? Where I am in my watch collecting, I'm becoming a little bit of a sucker for white dials. In fact, you guys saw me do the review for the Phoebus, right? And that was mother of pearl. I kind of wanted a mother of pearl in the collection. And I want to be careful when I say this, but it is a little hard to find a mother of pearl dial that's not too feminine, in my own opinion, for myself. I feel like I wanted that kind of material, but I felt that the white dial to the Casio Edifice automatic gives that kind of feel to the mother of pearl white. Is that fair to say? I think that that's accurate for sure, at least in my opinion. So I went with the white dial, man. It's on the way. I don't have it with me. I will do an unboxing with you guys when it arrives, I promise. But I couldn't wait to talk about it. I know it's not brand new news, but I needed some time to wrap my mind around it. And I'm going to tell you guys how I feel about it. And I am interested. The real point of this live was to see how you guys in the chat and you guys in the playback feel about this release altogether. Blissful Ignorance says mother of pearl is the best. A mother of pearl is very nice, whether you're talking about a black one or a white one. They do look fantastic. But I do also feel that the white dial on the Edifice automatic for Casio gives that kind of resemblance to it. It gives that kind of feel to it without leaning too much into the lighter shades of pink and, you know, that kind of array that it has for it, if you will. So we're playing this video in the background just so you guys, so that's the version that I got. And listen, I've been a little bit of a sucker. Well, look at that close up. I didn't even play for that. I've been a little bit of a sucker, man. So you see how that gives like a mother of pearl type of feel? Not all the way. It is different. This is a forged carbon fiber. I don't want to confuse anybody. The blue, though. Oh, my God. The blue's nice. The green's nice. I mean, when it comes to the dial, even if you got the black, I always find black to be a little bit boring, but because this is forged carbon fiber, it is still kind of interesting. I thought the green, most people could say it would be, if it was darker, maybe, but of course it does play with the light source, right? When it's direct light source, it gets lighter. It does get a little bit of a tone darker. Overall, man, as far as the dial alone, I think they did a fairly good job. And we don't have the watch with us in person, so I want to reserve my true feelings for the watch for when we do, because I really am a firm believer in speaking more educated about the watch when we actually have it on wrist, if that's fair. It's on the way. It's in the mail. But I couldn't wait to talk about it because I was so excited. And I'll tell you what, man, Just like you guys, I watched a bunch of different reviews on the watch. Less interested to know what the person reviewing it had to say about it, and more interested to see what the comment section had to say about it. And I'll say this. I don't know how much of it is true, but there was a lot of people who comment that they are an avid fan of Casio, but they're going to pass on this model. So I thought that was interesting. I can't figure out why it was so quick, why they were so quick to strike that iron. Maybe it's because they're nerds. And when you're a nerd, and if any brand, and that, you know what, to be honest with you, I kind of respect that pushback from the Wizards. Because here's the deal. When a brand uses NH35 and they proclaim to be a micro brand, I'm using this as an example. Casio's not a micro brand. But when anybody uses the NH35, there's an expectation when you have a certain price point. Now, the price point of this Edifice Auto is around $300 to $400. That is stretching the needle for a lot of people. I'm not going to say everybody, because somebody like me, I don't say yay or nay based off of the movement alone. If you tell me your watch is an NH35 and it's over, if it's at 300 or over, I'm like, cool. What else is there about this watch? I do say that. I don't say $300 for an NH35. No, guys, I have so much respect, and I've said this before in the past. I have so much respect for the NH35 that I couldn't just weigh and measure a watch alone from the movement. I'm not mad at the fact that Casio used the NH35 for their first automatic. Why? Because from time and time again, we've seen web-based brands test the market for their watches with an NH35. Oh, by the way, it's affordable to also step into even watchmaking in general. So am I mad that Casio utilized it? No, in fact, it's more reinforcing that the NH35 is a reliable movement, which I think that argument is to bed. But what's not to bed about the NH35 is this. I don't think that the NH35 gets the respect that it should get, simply because, and it's not the beats per minute. It's not that. I think it's more so the tolerance, the plus or minus. Can I say something here? And let me know in chat. You guys are in chat. Let me know how you... The tolerance is ridiculous. The tolerance is like minus 30, plus 40. I've not gotten an NH35 with that tolerance. I've never received an NH35 that was plus 40 seconds, not even close to it. So I don't know where they got this from. I don't know if the Seiko manufacturing is trying to just cover CY. What is it? Cover your own, you know what? I get it. Maybe that does exist. But if it does, I can tell you that it ain't 9 times out of 10 that you're getting that. In fact, all of the NH, even when it's not directly from the Japan manufacturing, or if it's not directly from that TMI type of thing, I've never gotten a movement that was minus 30, plus 40. I've never gotten a movement that's even close to it. In fact, I saw a review earlier today for this Casio Edifice that was +1, -2. And I've actually gotten one from AliExpress of all places. The NH35 is what we're talking about. I've gotten one that was 0. Not -1, not plus, 0 on the money. Now that was only crown. That was only dial up. I guess that would be crown. Regular placing it down on the thing itself. I didn't test it in 5 positions, is what I'm saying. My point is this. The NH35 is underrated, and I think it's wildly stated to say it's +40 or -30. And I may be wrong. We're going to check out the Casio website to see if that's what they stated for this, but it's not even close to that. That blue dial way, though, oh my God. Now, I want to know this. I have a question for you guys. Is this a watch that you would suggest to a first-time watch buyer? Is this, like, if somebody was just getting into watch collecting, maybe they bought 1 or 2 watches, they're definitely in year 1. They ask you, hey, I heard about the NH35. I was thinking about automatic. Would you suggest this watch to them as their first-time watch? Because here's the deal. We have to pay mind to price point, right? Price point is about $300 to $400. It's not in the US market just yet. You can go on eBay like I did and purchase yours, but it comes out to be $300 to $400 depending on the model that you choose. That's a lot of dollars. And you guys know we like web-based brands, micro brands. That opens the doors for a lot of micro brands. Okay. And there's a lot of facts in the specifications of this watch that are not up to par that you can receive with that amount of money. Or even quality wise, right? Even quality wise, like San Martin puts some elbow grease into giving you a well-refined watch with NH35 in it. And here's where I'm disappointed. I'm all over the place. I'm very emotional about this. I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm excited, I'm disappointed. I bought the watch. Because guys, we're living through history, yes? This is the first time Casio did an automatic watch. So the market targeting, and we spoke about first-time buyers. Do you guys think that they would go to this? Who is this for? Who was Casio targeting? Casio fans is it's a knee-jerk reaction. It's a knee-jerk. Now, I'm not a Casio fanboy, even though I showed you guys a whole bunch of Casios. I'm not a fanboy, but I do love them. And I was a very affordable collector when I started off, and they opened the doors to a lot of watches that I could just rip off the shelf. That's why I love them. They create more addicts. They create more addicts. They increase the pie. And you can modify the crap out of their watches. Now, they did an NH35, which also leans into that modification. Think about this, because I know you guys watch the reviews and watch the videos. I know you guys know more than me. The fact that you put Seiko NH in there only opens the doors to modifications. There's a plentiful amount of hands that can be put into it. Dials, I don't think you should mod the dial. I think you should leave the dial alone. That's my personal opinion. I'm not going to touch the dial. Am I thinking about modifying the hands? Yeah. Because where the watch runs short is in the actual loom itself. So I can see that. Let me catch up on chat. I'm all over the place. I can do that. Vintage Vega, yes. Trap, probably would suggest a Seiko. That's a good suggestion, MG, for sure. I would suggest a Seiko as well, for sure. And I do have my King Turtle that I want to show you guys because I did modify it. A Casio with a custom Casio movement would be MG. That is the biggest topic that's floating around about this release. But realize, MG, and I'm sure that you're familiar because you are trying to open up your own micro brand to do that custom movement, right? Millions of dollars, literally millions of dollars. Casio has a legacy of quartz durability based on the comments I've read. Some purists would have been on board with an automatic movement built specifically for Casio. Would have been on board with an automatic movement built specifically for Casio. Gotcha. And I think so too. But, you know, not to defend it. I'm only playing devil's advocate. But again, a specific movement for Casio is very expensive. It's very expensive to do. And that doesn't allow you to test the market if that's what you're trying to do. $300 to $400 needs at least a Miyota 9 series, in my opinion. I can rock with that, Risful. I can rock with that. Here's the deal, man. And we're going to look at some things about the watch specifically. We'll go to the Casio website, and I'll tell you where I think that they could have done better, if not the movement alone. If we take the movement out of the equation, I think that there are other things that could have been improved. The release is still young. I'd like to see how it goes over time. And Vintage Vega, that is exactly how most people feel. Most people are like, that is really cool. I know for a fact that it's not going to stop here. What's going to happen next? So that's valid. Still seems weird. Toyota with a Mazda engine. It is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. It is kind of weird. But not too off the wagon, right? Hey, Watchman, yes, but still the first American. I think it looks a bit of a premium as a collector edition. Yeah, exactly. So, am I on chat? Am I up to chat? Yeah, billions. Not billions, but millions for sure. millions upon millions. And you are not going to buy. And guess what? There's a lot of people that are not going to buy this watch. I just so happen to not be one of those people because I got to do it, man. I got to do it because I'm thinking about it this way. 30 years from now, I'm going to be able to take that watch and be like, this is the first automatic that they did, right? Maybe I'll talk a little, you know what I mean? But at the end of the day, I'm going to have that. So who is the watch targeting? Definitely Casio fans. Hey, listen. They could even be targeting watch enthusiasts like you and I. For sure. Look, I didn't get the watch because I'm a content creator and I felt like I had to have it in hand. I swear that's not why I got it. I got it because it was 50% of the reason why I bought the watch is because it was Casio's first automatic. Period. Now let's talk about let's take a little intermission. We're going to go to the Casio website and we're going to talk about specific specifications in which I think that they should have improved on. Movement, I think Rissful said this. Movement for sure, Miyota series would have been better because here's the deal. You kind of kill two birds with one stone, right? If you use a Miyota 9000 series and at the level that you're at when you're Casio, you can buy the Miyota movement at a substantial quantity where you would have the same price point. However, Casio's a big animal. Casio is a big, living, breathing business. So they have to make the profits that they need to make when they do something, even when it's a test figure, right? As much as you love Casio, if you want them to stay in business, oh, Casio will never go out of business. Absurd. My man, let me tell you something about business. Nobody's safe. Nobody's safe. And it doesn't have to be somebody takes your lunch money, right? Talking about Blockbuster and Netflix. It doesn't have to be that situation. It could just be a mishandle of cash flow. That's simple. Chapter 9, close it up. Now, you'd be pissed. So am I mad that they're asking for doll hairs that are way above the punching bag that it should be for an NH35? I'm not mad. Because here's the deal. You don't got to pay for it. You can say no. Maybe you can't. I couldn't. And 50% of the reason why I bought the watch was simply because they came out with an automatic movement. Whether or not they chose, I'm happy they chose the NH, right? And not some weirdo movement. Some movement we haven't heard of that we're like, what is that? Miyota would have been better. Two birds would have been the case dimensions. Miyota's slimmer, higher beat if it's a 9000 series. So it would have made more sense. But that would have cut into the profit margins. And who knows if Miyota would have said yes to Casio. Who would say no? Well, you'd be surprised. I'm just throwing things all over the place. Hi, beautiful. Where we at? Robert Wood is in the building. It looked nice and are finished well for the price. Not planning on getting it. I'm surprised, Robert Wood. If I had to say somebody, I would say you would have gotten this watch. So I am surprised for sure that you're not grabbing it. But hey, listen, that's okay. You're allowed to spend your doll hairs where you want to. The target was Skylar Santana. The rest of us are collateral damage. Listen, man, buy responsibly. Buy responsibly. I can't say that. So let's take an intermission. I do want to show you guys a sneak peek behind a up-and-coming web-based brand, micro brand, independent brand, whatever you want to call it. Mr. MG is in the chat, and I do want to show some renderings that he sent me, ladies and gentlemen. So let's bring that up on stage as a solo. So now, this is not a lot of sneak peek stuff that's happening, but at the end of the day, because it's so new, it is a lot, right? So we have the dial, as you see, is the first image over here. We have that. Okay, so we have some recessed indices, right? We can see that. This is applied at the minutes itself. We have some nice ovaling going on here at the 6 o'clock. Everything else is circle. We have some textures. We have some deep engraving here on the dial itself. Some valleys, I would like to call it, actually. Now, he's hiding the logo. He's hiding the text. He's hiding a lot because I'll tell you what, man, I'm really, really grateful, Milo, for you showing me this to begin with. This is absolutely spectacular that you would give me the opportunity to show this. Here's the side profile of the case itself. Okay, So by the looks of it, and it's hard to tell because I don't have dimensions, I'm going off eye. I want to say this is 11. No. This is like a 10 and a half. It's not thick. It's not thick. Looking at the hands, they have like this lime, not lime green, olive green, very bold for the hour. Is that the hour or the minute? They're very long, both of them. I think that the thicker one is the hour. This is the minute hand, but olive green, lined, packed full of lume. So could this be a diver? It absolutely could be, right? At least maybe it's 200 meters. But this is a nice little teaser. Indices look like they have a lot of lume. I'm hoping that there's like 15 layers of lume. Who knows what kind? If I had to guess, I want to say BGW9. And that's all we get. He's even hiding the crown over here because it probably had a signed logo or a signed crown. So he hid that from us as well. But I'm okay with that. You know, let's bring me back up to stage. That was a nice little sneak preview. It's really dark outside. And look like, baby, is it going to storm today? Yo, you just missed it. Like I could tell from my lighting. It looks like I'm like, holy, because there's no lighting coming from the window. Yo, even she's laughing, yo. Yeah, your boy got jokes. I only had a couple sips. It's very dark and there's a storm. What's the saying going? There's a storm coming? There's a storm coming. That's the sneak preview of my man MG. I'm super, yo, nothing hypes me up more when an upping. I think my most exciting thing to do for micro brands, independent brands, web-based brands is featuring those who are just coming out. Nothing excites me more. And we have to have MG on the channel. MG, when you officially release this watch, and I'll show you guys again. When you officially release this watch, we are going to have you on the channel, and I want you to spread the good gospel about it. And I want you to tell us, I want you to give us the process, man. I want you to give us the skinny. I think that that's very, very interesting to know the background of how this came to be. What was your process with manufacturing conversations? What's your inspirations? What's your story? Because when it comes to micro brands, especially, it's all about the story. It's all about the come up. It's all about the connection to the owner itself. And the fact that you reached out to this channel and you allowed me to get ahead of the embargo, you hit a couple of things that need to be hidden. Yo, check this out. Let's go back to that. I'm all over the place, but check this out. He even hid the middle where the pinion would be for the actual hands, right? He did that here. And because what he knows is that we would have figured that out by just opinion. Yeah, whatever's just holding up the actual hands, we probably would have figured that out. So now I'm salivating. I'm excited to see the development. Thank you so much for choosing me to be able to give that sneak preview. Best of luck, MG, and however I could help, do let me know. Let's get back to the Casio Edifice Automatic, shall we? Who is it for? The watch enthusiast. People who are diehard Casio, that's going to get it just because. Watch nerds who want to have the medallion of watch history to just say this is the first automatic watch that Casio came out for. It's an integrated bracelet, so they're playing on that market. They're on the back end tail of that, I think. I don't think integrated bracelets, not saying that they're not sought after. I am saying that they're not as exciting as they were before because so many people have overplayed it. However, new watch collections, fresh blood. I think that, yes, this can captivate people who are fresh blood. Because I'll tell you what, I'll make it make sense. When I started off collecting, I got a lot of Casio watches. Yes? So therefore, I'm already in their network as a new watch collector. I'm 5 years older, 6 years older in collecting. Still kind of young, but a little bit more advanced. But had I just been on that Casio Duro and DW 5600 and I heard about this, because you're going to hear about this, I would have got it. I would have got it right then and there. And that would have been hopefully my first automatic. And I wouldn't be mad at that. What are you guys saying on chat? Appreciate you, Trap. Hit the thumbs up if you like it, man. Absolutely. Of course, we'll figure it out. We'll figure it out. That sounds gangster, bro. Yeah, we'll talk, Mr. Santana. We'll figure it out. We'll see. I'll talk to my people. You'll talk to your people. Maybe we can figure it out. We'll figure it out, bro. We'll figure it out. He's laughing. He likes it. We can talk about everything. Yeah, I want to know the story. I want to know the story. You guys are saying hi. Mr. P is what I'm going to call you. It's the first time. I know this is the first time because that's a Dragon Ball Z icon. And I just rewatched Dragon Ball. Was it Kai? I think it was Dragon Ball Kai. Which one is the one with Frieza? That's the one I just rewatched. Welcome to the chat, sir. Let's get back on task, shall we? Let's look at the website. That's what we got to do. Now, this is not going to be a website audit because Casio's a big dog, so I'm not worried about if they're portraying their watches properly. I can say this. You can't buy off website if you're in the USA, right? Obviously. What do we want to look at? Let's bring up the blue dial color. That's phenomenal, man. And I'll tell you what. If I had to pick up the lot, it would have been this blue dial. And blue is very, very popular, right? That's a thing. However, I own the Tissot PRX with the blue waffle dial, which is also a integrated bracelet. You see what I'm saying? So I think that was overkill. I have currently a weakness for white dials, and this forged carbon fiber gives a mother of pearl feel. My wife owns 2 mother of pearl now, so I kind of wanted to jump on the bandwagon. You know what I mean? So that's that. So going back to it, let me see if I do this. Does this make it full screen for you guys? I think it does. Yeah. So we'll do this for now. As I scroll through it, you'll scroll through it with me. And what I'm most interested about is the specifications, right? Basic information. The sizing is not whatever, right? The thickness being 12.5 millimeters. Okay, so let's start off there. This is perfect, right? 43.5, 39, but the 12.5, there's my first discrepancy. I would have loved if Casio would have trimmed that down, right? We've seen other brands like San Martin. They've gotten it down to a 10 and change. So it would have been really nice, especially in an integrated bracelet, to see something thinner. So that's going to be my first thing that I'm going to butt heads with as is, right? The weight is whatever, magnetic resistant, that's fine. Let's see, watch features. Okay, here it is. 35. So it's using an NH35, right? And they're saying it's minus 35 to plus 45 seconds a day. Guys, that's not it. That's not it. And let me know in chat, let me know in the playback as far as comments goes, have you received an NH35 with anywhere near this tolerance? Because I'll tell you what, I own a bunch of NH35s and I have not gotten anything near that for myself, okay? So that is what it is. So I'm not 100 meters of water resistance. That effectively makes this watch a good gotta watch, right? It's kind of like that dress sporty watch. Now, I did hear things about this crown being a little too smooth, right? Being a little hard to grip. I can tell right now from the polishing in between. I'm trying to pull this up so you guys can see it really, really close. But I don't think that's going to happen here. But you guys see this crown? There's polishing here, right? This should be a knurling. Now, I don't know the size of the crown in general. It does look like it's at a decent size. Maybe this is like a, I don't know, like a 6.0 millimeter. It's not signed either. That's kind of like a letdown. That's probably the smallest of qualms that we could have with it. You know what? Let's bring up the white one. I want to bring up the white one because that's the one that I'm aesthetically interested in personally. Where are we going here? How do I bring up? It's annoying. There we go. Yeah, so there's see, Casio's not used to doing automatic. So there's a little bit of a how do you say, novice type of flow for this. I think that there should be some knurling on there. There should be some grip. Is that going to be the biggest deal in the world? Probably not, because I can see that's at a decent thickness and it's probably at like a 6.0. Dial is fantastic. On the white dial, of course, we have a white aperture for the date wheel, so that matches up. But that also shows, in this case, a little bit of inexperience, as at least for entertaining super watch nerds, right? Like, whoa, that date wheel aperture should have been blue on the blue dial, should have been green on the green dial, should have been black on the black. You know what I mean? Like that's a thing. Loom. It's only loomed on the tip of the second hands that we have here. It's a dress watch. It's a sports dress watch. Some people are not going to care. They're going to say that loom should be definitely prevalent for the watch regardless. There's no loom on the indices, right? Those are bare. There's only loom at the tip. It's skeletonized towards the base. Second hand is a little, it's a little bare. It's just a normal, second hand. It is reaching almost out to the chapter ring, which is sloped for the rehaut, which is cool. The watch effectively has some depth with applied indices, with having that circular design after the rehaut chapter ring. And the fact that the chapter ring is sloped as well also gives it depth. So I'm not mad at that, right? They did a good job. They did a decent job. Should it have more loom? I don't know. I'm not really like a humongous loom guy, so I don't particularly care so much. But I definitely can say that the blue dial is probably going to be the most popular, as it is on most watches. And they don't have the forged carbon fiber case as an option for the US Casio website just yet. So I showed you guys the video that has it on there. It's in the description if you want to see what that looks like. All right, so I'll tell you this, man. And I don't think they show the bracelet. They don't show too much of the bracelet, do they? There are some facts about the bracelet as well. I think these are just split pins. We see some brushing. We see polishing on the bezel, polishing on the sides of the lugs. It looks pretty decent from this photo alone. We can get real close. It looks decent, right? It's not satin. And this is just website images, so it may be differently, right? It may be different when we see it up close. I'll say this, and let me see how I can get back to the screen here. Let's get back to me. And let's get back to chat. I could say this, man. Okay. For $300 to $400 price range, let's say three and change, right? Because I think that there's going to be a lot more of the steel sold than the forged carbon fiber for the case. $300 to $400 for a brand that is big as Casio. So buying power is not a problem for Casio, right? We can say that. That's a lot of light. Hold on. Let me see if I can dim that down. Hold on. That's a little better. Buying power is not a problem for Casio, right? So when they want to buy the cases and they want to buy the bracelets, they buy so many units that they can get the cost down. If they really wanted this thing to take off and be insane, because there's already reviews on the watch, I want to say this. I'm okay with the NH35 for sure. In fact, I think that that's a brilliant option. My own opinion. Do I think the watch needs more loom? I don't. It's a Gata watch. I know there's a lot of loom fanatics. I do apologize. But I don't think it needs a lot more loom. Because it's effectively a Gata watch that's more so on the sporty dress and / casual side of things. So it's not a diver, okay? It's not a pilot watch. It's not a diver. The case should have been slimmer. Because even when an NH movement, you can get the case down. We've seen that with Notice. We've seen that with San Martin. We've seen that with a lot of people that's starting to have buying power. The bracelet, should they have gone integrated bracelet? Probably not. They should have done just a regular 20 millimeter. That being said, because Casio did this, there will be a slew of bracelets that, a slew of straps that people are going to do specifically for this watch. You can bet your bottom dollar. So that's not going to be a problem in the future. It's a problem right now because it's summer, and with thermal expansion of the wrist, sometimes that bracelet doesn't calibrate correctly. And I think that there's only 2 micro tooled adjustments on it. So that could be a problem getting the fit that you want to. The bracelet's going to be a weakness. It is a weakness. Not aesthetically, but functional wise. No quick release, no on the fly. There aren't options of straps just yet. That's a problem for sure. Case thickness, like I said, is the biggest thing. Loom, it's an NH35, so you can put whatever hands that you want on there. There are going to be a crap load of hands. Now, you may not be a modifier, so you're like, I don't care. But for me, personally, I have a whole drawer full of different hands that I could put on there, better loom or whatever the case may be. I think it's I forget what type of loom that's on there specifically. I'm not sure. But I think that even if Casio didn't give us all of those categories of a thinner case, micro adjustment, or on-the-fly adjustment, quick release, even if they didn't give us all of those, they should have included one of them. And I think that that would have made a better argument for the watch in general for its value. That being said, when it's Casio, you don't have to give it all, because people are going to buy it for the brand name alone, and they could grease the wheel even more off of that. But there's a lot of feedback where people don't feel that it's worth its value, to be fair. So I guess you got to just take that with stride. Love or hate it, the thing is going to fly off the shelf. Absolutely. Oh, no, it's going to be sold out. It's going to be sold out. It hasn't even been released in the US just yet, but when it does, it is going to be sold out, period, off the strength of the name. And say what you want to say. You don't have to buy the watch. If you're going to sell out, then you've done your job as a business, right? And it's not a trash watch, to be fair, right? We're not saying we're taking it apart with nitpicking. We're being very particular, but at the end of the day, it's not a garbage watch. It's a nice watch. It's a very nice watch, I have to say. Mr. P agrees. Mr. Jose is in the building. What's going on, bro? How are you? I think some people that work at Casio had the idea to go crazy, but with all the big companies, they were probably stopped and got nerves. Probably had to go slow for the first automatic. You know what, man? Here's the deal. I'm glad you said that, MG, because that sparked something in my mind. And what sparks in my mind, you guys know how we have the iPhone? And you know how Apple has a new release of the iPhone every single year? It ain't that the technology or the nerds in the factory are figuring out the technology step by step. I'm fully, now this is turning into a conspiracy theorist, but follow me. I'm fully convinced that the iPhone 40 is already in the works, is already perfected at Apple. But they give us step by step because there's more money to be made off of that. I'm also convinced that a part of that theory also makes sense. Now, we can say testing the market, but at the end of the day, we all know that Casio could have produced their first automatic and made it 1,500, and it could have had all the bells and whistles. It could have been in-house. It could have been super. It could have been everything that we talked about. They have the ability. But it's about volume. It's about volume when you're a brand that big. It's about iterations, right? Apple's super big. They could give us the iPhone 40 today, and they could put it at $5,000. And guess what? It will be sold out, no matter how many units they produce. Okay? But then what do they do next year? How do they keep that wheel, that hamster wheel going? Listen, business is business, man. At the end of the day, business is business. So that's part of it. That's part of it. Overall, where does the watch stand with me personally? Well, there's 3 perspectives that I have for this watch. There's new to watch collecting, and I mean new. We're talking about a year, maybe sub 1 year. There is the collector, like myself, 5 years, right? Still young in general. I think after a decade's time, I'll start getting the watch wisdom. But we have the 5-year guy collector, and then we have the 10-year plus, let's say. And then the wife. Maybe I'll give you guys her thoughts on the watch as well. The first year guy, it's a 50-50. And I say 50-50, that's pretty high, actually. I say 50-50 because Casio has a phenomenal way of roping you into their watch world from their super affordable watches that I showed you guys prior. And therefore, their release is going to make headway for you regardless. So you may pull the trigger, especially if year one, I don't know if you're like me, but year one, like it took me time to get automatic. And when I did, it was an NH35. So if Casio would have done this in my first year, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Then there's a guy like me, year 5. Now we're talking in terms of enthusiast only. I can't speak for if you're not enthusiastic about watches. I don't know what that world looks like anymore. But I can say this. A guy like me, off of nostalgia alone, off of the fact that Casio did their first automatic, yes, getting the watch. Even though my collection at this point can easily justify me not doing it, gonna do it because it's the first time that Casio is coming out with an automatic. So that is already 50% of the reason. Now, if the watch was completely trash, that'd be a different conversation. It's not well refined, but it's still nice to put in there and own. I'm gonna wrist it too. Is it going to be my most worn? No, it's going to be part of the road. But at the end of the day, it's there because I'm a collector, and it is going to be something that I enjoy, and I will enjoy saying that this was their first automatic. So they got me. Year 10. Now, I'm not a year 10 collector, so it's hard for me. But I think that if you're in year 10, it's very easy for you to say no. Because at this point, even if you haven't gone to the higher tiers of movements or more refined watch collecting, even if you're still an affordable collector, your chances are you have a buttload of NH35s. And what you're doing effectively right now is you're sitting back and you're saying, I know that there's going to be more. I know that it's going to be better. I'm going to wait. Regardless if this is their first automatic or not. That's my projection of it for sure. But like you guys say in chat, are they going to be sold out? Hell yes. They're 100% going to be sold out. Period. Because they're a monster. How much would it be worth if it was a Pagani design instead of a Casio? I think MG said it right on the money. $100. $100. You know what? That's a good conversation. How much is this watch truly worth? Integrated bracelet with the finishing. I don't have it in hand, so we're doing a bird's eye. We're doing a window shop projection. I mean, yeah, man, if Pagani Design did this, for sure it'd be $100. And that's where most people have a problem with this watch. They know that it's a $100 watch, but it's ×3. Well, if you shop by brand name, even though it's not a luxury big brand, this is what they're able to do, right? They're able to set their price and say, now, is it absurd, the price point? No. But I feel like $300 to $400 NH35 and all of the specifications included, it's right on the cusp. I think that if it went to 500, it would be an absolute no from a larger percentage for sure. It's an absolute no already for some. But I think if it went to $500, maybe after taxes and everything else, we might be there. But you know what I'm saying? The starting point before that, I think that it would be an automatic no. It would be kicked away for sure. Do you think they can create a mechanical movement tough enough to support a G-Shock badge? They could for sure do that. They could for sure do it. How well it's going to be received, what it's going to look like, and everything else. That's going to be the actual question for it. If your question is, could they source and create a mechanical movement tough enough? Yeah, I would say they could. I don't know what the price point is going to look like. It would probably inquire about very high watchmaking as well. There'd probably be a lot of shock absorbing exterior and interior kind of thing altogether. But yeah, it would be expensive, and it wouldn't be really in their wheelhouse at that point, right? It would be kind of like too expensive. Casio is part of pop culture, just like Rolex. I agree with that, Jose, for sure. What could be its price? Are you talking about the actual price? The actual price is like $300 to $400 for this watch, effectively. What could be its price? I'll tell you what. Thank you for asking that, Mr. P. I'm going to call you Mr. P. This is faster. I think that if this watch was at $200 to $250, $200 to $250 all day long, because we just said Pagani Design would be at $100. There's a name there, so you have to pay for that. $250, $200. I think everybody, and let me know in chat, for those who said they're not going to pick this up, would you change your mind if this watch was at $200 to $250? I'm going to say $200 and $250 for the forged carbon fiber case and forged carbon fiber dial. Forged carbon fiber dial. Would you pick this up for $200 to $250? Would that change anything for you? The watch market is goofy right now, so it will be a safe bet for customers and enthusiasts alike. Being an integrated a weak bracelet kills the whole. Yeah, it does. It does, Wristful. But I'll tell you what, man. Mark my words. There's going to be a crap load of bracelets for this watch, a crap load of straps for this watch. So even though it's integrated right now and you're kind of stuck on stupid, if you get the watch right now, I think moving forward, that's not going to be as bad as an issue. And you might get a strap of every kind of material, whether it be leather, whether it be, anything, rubber, FKM, you're going to see all of it. I think I caught up on chat. True San Martin will be all over this in like 3 weeks with Loom 20 mil lugs. So you guys think that this is going to be a copycat from the clomage makers? It's a possibility. I think you're going to see fakes as well, right? Because I think it's going to sell out. There's definitely going to be the AliExpress thing. But there's also going to be the AliExpress thing of accessories for straps, like I said before. So it won't be all bad, but it won't be all good. We're going to land this plane, ladies and gentlemen. Now speaking, the captain has put the buckle your seatbelt sign on. Please strap in yourself and make sure your neighbor is safe. My wife is laughing, by the way. When you can make the wife laugh from 20 feet away, 18 years later, you know that you're doing the right thing. With 30 plus watches, what's that? With 30 plus watches, I have to be way more picky. I get that, bro. I get that. Jose, I'm not trying to be an enabler, but I'm going to be. At the same time, Jose, how many watches in your collection can you identify as a big brand and going into a new realm for the first time? Casio, by the way, global. I'm just saying, Jose, and I know your collection, bro. I know your collection. This is a snacker for you. This is a snacker for you. I'm going to need you to pony up. I would go 200 too. See? That's the price point. For 200, yes. See what I mean? I got my finger on the pulse sometimes. I really do. 200 for the regular steel models, 250 for the forged carbon fiber case, I would say. So if it was 200, man, it'd be out of control. Other a bit better. I think it would be proof concept. What did you just say? Other micro macro brands will do it a bit better, I think. This may be proof of concept. Yeah, that's a thing, Megazoid. Absolutely. It's definitely proof of concept. But you know what? It may be paving the way for other, I don't know who else is like Casio that would have the same effect, being digital being quartz analog, and then going into automatic. I don't know who would be as groundbreaking as Casio to do such a move, but I hear what you're saying. If the watch sells out, for sure, Bugatti Design or Sandbar. Either way, Jose. Either way, they're gonna go after it. Either way, they're gonna go after it. Anything popular, they snipe it. Cut corners with this one, which is surprising, especially at they didn't cut corners, bro. I mean, they did cut corners. You're right, but I wouldn't say they cut corners as much as they just didn't do it. You know what I mean? Did they cut corners? Yeah, they cut corners. You're right. I retract. They cut corners. You're right. If they could do it and they didn't do it, that's the definition of cutting corners. Mega, I respect you, bro. I respect your perspective. Where we at? Where we at? Raymond D never misses a live. I'm sorry if I missed your chat, Raymond D. Let me catch up. Let me go back to chat. Does Casio Does Casio have own quartz movements? Does Casio have own quartz movements? Do they own quartz movements? I believe that they make their own movements, bro, for quartz. I mean, that's all they do all day long. So I'm pretty sure they own their movements. They're a movement provider as well. There you go. That's all I have. Before we peel off, ladies and gentlemen, I do want to show you the update for the Seiko Turtle. And so I did get a ceramic bezel. Now, I got a ceramic bezel, but I am waiting for also an aluminum version, and I want to make a poll for what you guys think I should ultimately decide for this one. So the Seiko Turtle, this is the SRPE 05 King, sapphire crystal, ceramic bezel, which we changed, bezel insert. Got rid of the Cyclops as well. How about you just show us the watch? All right, I will. I have to kind of hold it because I didn't glue it in just yet, but check this out. This is one of the options. This is ceramic green, army green, to match that dial. What do you guys think about that? Now, I originally wanted olive green to give a little bit of a contrast or to match that second hand. As you can see, it's like a tan. So I kind of wanted to do olive green, but it was very difficult to find. I Googled olive green ceramic all day long. The only issue that I have with this bezel insert is that only the pip is loomed, right? And not the numbers. I can live with that. Because when am I going to need the actual numbers in the bezel insert to be illuminated? Never. Never. In fact, I don't need any of the loom, period. It's nice to see. But it is ceramic still. And I have an aluminum version. Now, that aluminum is going to be a little bit lighter in tone. It's going to be closer to an olive green. I will create a poll on the channel so you guys can also weigh in which way I should go. So it's not in there, man. It's not in there, and I'll prove it to you. I'll prove it to you. There we go. Right? It's still loose, right? But as far as matching that dial, I mean, on the money or on the money, I think I'm gonna. I also want you guys to think of a nickname for this watch as well. Is this the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle build? I don't know. Let me know. What are you guys talking about? Why are you guys laughing over here? Hold on. Whoa, okay, Mr. MG. Mr. MG. Sorry for the swish English. Nah, you're good, bro. You're good. Is that a super chat? Oh, that is a super. Oh, Mr. MG. My wife is watching. With the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Thank you for the tip. I understand what you're saying, bro. Don't apologize for the way you talk. I understand every single word that you said. You effectively communicated with me. So let me know, guys. Let me know. And oh, yeah. By the way, it's on leather as well. I'm a bad boy. 200 meters on leather. Let's go. Who else is feeling that? I don't know. But ladies and gentlemen, please, if you made it to the end of this live, I am interested to know what you guys have on wrist. I do have community post open to the public. I am interested to know. Ben 10 gave me his post. Eric Mack, I saw your post too. I have to figure out how to put your post up on screen. I will do that. So I do really appreciate you guys sharing with it. And Eric Mack, I didn't know you was a baller, bro. I think you had the Omega. You had the Omega on there. So that was pretty nice. Ben 10 shared his color. I need Ben 10 to also post his brew stat. But I want to know what's on your wrist, man. I want to know what's in your collection. The community posts are up. In order to post, you have to be subscribed for at least 24 hours, which will unlock you to be able to do so. And then eventually I'll figure out the things to share. And instead of just doing a wrist check for myself, portion of this live stream will be what will be on your wrists. MG again with the super chat. He said that was for Trap, so I have to give you the bounce. I can't do it as good as Trap. With the soup, with the super chat. I appreciate you guys, man. I appreciate you guys. Yo, oh no. Yo, you guys. Hey, yo. Here we go. Here we go with the chain super chat at the end. Trap Vision. Trap Vision with the keep it going super chat. Bandit. Yes, we will band it. We'll strap it. We'll trap it. We'll get it in 3D and we'll give it the bounce first because, with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Appreciate you. Oh, man. Raymond D. With the they keep going, baby. I'm trying to land this plane. They won't let me land the plane. They give it. You can't stop the stream if they're super chatting. With the super chat. I just do whatever comes to mind. Raymond D, always in attendance, gives your boy a tip at the last drip of the stream. I appreciate you before the super chat. Appreciate you. Jose, make them dance, he said. He said, make them, hey, he said, make them dance. Super chat. Appreciate you, Jose. Jose, I'm going to need you to post some of your watches, bro. You have some exquisite timepieces. I'm going to need you after this live stream to go on the community post and give us some eye candy. Just saying. Appreciate you. Smack Daddy. Oh, he comes in. He said he's late. Man, Smack Daddy. Yeah, bro. You at the end. But you still made it to the super chat dances because Megazoid comes in with the $5 Kame. Bake bounce. Fusions. Super chat. Babe, I can't stop the stream if they're super chat. If they tip, you gotta do the dip. You know what I mean? Nah, I appreciate you. I see the laughing face. I can hear the laughter from here. Guys, the captain's circling around the airport. We got to land this plane, but I do appreciate you guys. Smack Daddy, you're going to get a write-up for being late. Just letting you know, this is your final warning. Nah, I'm just playing. Love it. Oh, man, Eric Mack. Mac Daddy, Mac Daddy. I'm losing my place here. Eric Mack with the super chat. Appreciate you, bro. Eric Mack Daddy. Yo, and I also appreciate your wrist shots, Eric Mack, for sure. Super chat. Oh, sorry, wifey. We love the super chats. Travis Trap Vision 3D, Mr. Wiley. Vacay bounce. Vacay bounce. Oh, vacay bounce. 10K bounce. Super chat. All right, guys, I gotta close this out, bro. I appreciate you guys. Nah, we're closing. No more. Please hold your super chats for the next live. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a lot of fun. I hope you got something from it. I hope you got a perspective. Casio, for the first time doing an automatic, is in the bank. It's coming to my collection. We are going to do an unboxing. I am absolutely excited regardless. I understand they could have done better, but it's still historic. And with that being said, ladies and gentlemen, I appreciate you guys for spending your most valuable asset, which is time, and hopefully see you in the next one. And we're going to add to that. Don't forget, the only perfect watch is the watch that you decided to put on your wrist. Peace.